you're saying, man, where is he? We can hear him, but we can't see him. But boom, here I am right back in the studio. Whoo, I'm telling you, man, y'all are like, man, how does this guy do it? Time in and time again, he just never ceases to amaze in that ATEM television studio magic right there. Well, that's what we do here on Tech Pulse. But let's get right back into this thing, man. I'm talking about Microsoft coming up with their answer to the used game market. Now, according to the report by CNET, they said each sale of a used Xbox One game, now this is not going back to the 360, each sale of the Xbox One game will profit Microsoft and the original publisher, at least according to sources coming out of the UK as far as Microsoft is concerned. Now, the Microsoft policy concerning used Xbox One games have proven to be a bit of a confusion for the company, but this new report that has come out has given us some more concrete details on the situation. Now, citing information from retail sources and CNET, a gaming news site, Microsoft and game publishers will take a bite out of the sale of each used Xbox One game. In the process of selling a used game, original owners would also see the game wiped away from their online accounts so they can no longer play it. Microsoft already confirmed that the Xbox One users who install a game on the console's hard drive will no longer need the discs, as the game is then tied to their online accounts. To deal in used games, retailers will reportedly have to agree, so this includes GameStop, retailers like GameStop, Best Buy, if you're going to deal in used games, you're going to have to agree to Microsoft's terms and use policies of Microsoft Online and various things like that. And after the used game is registered through Microsoft as having been sold, the seller's access to that game is then removed. The final step may shed some light on a comment from Microsoft Corporate Vice President Phil Harrison that the Xbox One needs to check in with Microsoft servers at least once every 24 hours. So retailers can sell used games at any price they choose, but with the understanding that Microsoft and the game's publishers will each share in the proceeds. So this is what Microsoft is doing. And here's a problem or a question I have with that way of doing things. Because if Microsoft says that they're going to wipe, because here's how it is. When you buy a game for the Xbox One, right away, according to Microsoft, this is why the Xbox One comes with a minimum 500 gigabyte hard drive, which to me is not going to be enough if you're going to download every game. But what they're going to do is they're going to allow the games, when you put it in the machine, it's going to immediately download all of the information onto the hard drive of the Xbox One. So you don't need a disc to play the game anymore. Once you load it on there, every time you go to play, it's right there on your dashboard. You click it, you go and play, and that's it. So you don't need a disc anymore, and it's attached to your online account. So now, once you do this, right, and the minute you sell the game and the game has been registered as being sold, then Microsoft will wipe the game from your account. You don't have a choice. They're going to wipe it from your account so you can no longer play the game because you sold it. So this will stop people from being able to download the game onto their hard drive, go back and sell it at EB for a price or whatever, not EB, GameStop, and then still have the game. So Microsoft is going to, now will the downloads be automatic? Microsoft didn't say, but it sure appears that way, that as soon as you put the disc in, it's going to automatically download it so you don't need the disc anymore. Now here's my question. My question is, if this is how it's going to be, what provisions have they made for, let's say, I go over to somebody's house and they want to borrow the game? You know, I mean, the game is registered to me, but when they put it on their machine, Microsoft is going to see that, wait a minute, this game is being played by somebody else. They have the ability to download this game. I mean, when you go to other people's house, is it going to be to where I can access my account from their Xbox, and so they have access to, I mean, how is Microsoft going to control that situation? Because it sounds like they're trying to obviously get their, you know, get a piece of the pie when it comes to used games. But how is it going to work if I go over to someone's house and I let them borrow the game, I borrow a copy of the game? Is that going to be illegal in Microsoft's world? I don't know. You know, we have to wait and see what Microsoft is doing. But as of right now, they're saying that companies like EB or Target, GameStop, I keep saying EB, but you know, EB obviously was bought out by GameStop. GameStop, Target, Best Buy, all of those companies that deal in used games, Walmart, they all deal in used games. They're going to have to give Microsoft and the developers of the game. So not just Microsoft, because obviously Microsoft doesn't develop every game. But companies like Bungie, like Konami, like Square Enix, those companies, you know, they will, Blizzard, if you sell a game back to GameStop, they're going to get a piece of the action when it comes to that game being resold. Now, this is something that, to me, Microsoft is kind of following in the footsteps of what Sony used to do when Sony was so hard to work with. Developers had said for years that Sony is one of the hardest companies to deal with when it comes to making games because they want everything their way. And Microsoft seems to be headed down that same road. So I don't know if this is going to hurt Microsoft. I don't know if this is going to help Microsoft, but we have to wait and see how the gamers react to this sort of thing, to having the games totally wiped from their system. I mean, obviously, if you sell a game, you don't have it anymore, you can't play it and stuff like that. But it just seems invasive for Microsoft to be able to just go into your system and just wipe out all your data with the game because, well, at least the game itself. We don't know if they're going to wipe out all your saves and your achievements and stuff like that. But for right now, they're going to wipe out all the game's information so you can no longer play the game. And incidentally, Microsoft with the Xbox, with the Kinect feature of the Xbox, right? Microsoft is also, they have worked into it to where when you're downloading movies or when you're watching movies, the Kinect will detect how many people are in the room. Now, does this mean if you're going to be able to buy movies through Microsoft's Xbox One, are they going to say, well, hey, you have 5 people in the room, that's going to be, you know, the movie costs $5, that's going to be $20 in order for you to rent this title? That's another thing that people don't know, how Microsoft is going to do this, because Microsoft is looking basically to use the Xbox Kinect to really see what's going on in the home, and this information is going to be sent to Microsoft. So this is something that people are kind of talking about right now, a little scary, if you will. And Microsoft, even though they say that it doesn't have to be always on, they're saying that the device has to check in with Microsoft servers at least once in a 24-hour period, which obviously that can change, you know, but we just have to wait and see if this is something that, if it helps Microsoft, if it hinders, we don't know. But we have to see what goes on, and that's how Microsoft is planning, at least in their estimation, that's what they're planning to, solve this used game situation so that they can make some money on the used games, and it's not all on companies like GameStop or like Target or Walmart or Best Buy to make the games or make money on the games only. Now, this same question is looming over the PlayStation. Is the PlayStation 4 gonna have the same sort of restrictions, or the same sort? Sony hasn't come out and said anything. Are they gonna have that same sort of thing with the PlayStation 4? Well, gamers have come out in force, and they have said in that old Pink Floyd song way back, they have said, hey Sony, leave these games alone. People aren't happy about what Microsoft has done with the Xbox One console when it comes to how they're going to approach used games. Gamers aren't happy about it, because I'm a gamer and I don't want to know that I can't sell the game and you know, whenever I want it, and then Microsoft is just going to wipe that thing off my hard drive. People aren't really happy about that, and gamers have said to Sony, don't follow that route. I mean, Devin, what do you think about the fact that the Kinect, first on the question of the games, but the fact that Microsoft is going to use the Kinect, you know, the Microsoft Kinect, it will detect, if you're downloading a movie or you're going to watch a movie through Xbox One, it will detect how many people are in the room. So they can say, no, Devin, that was $5 if it was just you.
Yeah,
But since you got your family, $15.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's real greed.
Yeah.
Because they just want more and more and more, and the people will retaliate. The
Oh,
people
yeah.
will get mad, and I'm already retaliating. I won't be buying. I'm not yet a gamer, and then I'm definitely not going to be a gamer.
Not if this is the way they're going
This
to.
is the way they're going to do it. What's the point?
Yeah.
That's really ridiculous.
I mean to wipe your hard drive to say, okay, you sold the game, so they're wiping your hard drive
That's
clean
ridiculous.
of anything of the game, so you can't play it anymore. I mean, that to me, and then what if I go over to a friend's house? What are they gonna say? Oh, you can't let the friend borrow the game?
Millions from the game, from
Right.
selling the game,
Right.
right? And I own the game now
Right.
when I buy the game.
Right.
For me to pass it on, sell to someone else because I don't want to use it anymore, and
Right.
I create a new market from that. Buy GameStop.
If that's what you.
If that's what you want, just buy GameStop.
Right.
Don't now tell me I don't own the game anymore and I can't pass it on.
No,
That's
because you gave it to someone else, so they're saying you shouldn't have rights to play it, and they're
Yeah.
gonna wipe your hard drive clean.
That's totally ridiculous.
So, what's your thoughts about the movie? Them being able to detect. Well, tonight you have Ariana, you have Anne Marie, and yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna download a movie that costs $5.99, but you got 3 people.
I'm locking the door. Pull the blinds. It's gonna be a dark room, and all. If they can have radar detectors
Right.
and radar blockers,
Right.
they must be able to block these guys.
Oh yeah. You know they're gonna have some hack. You know, some hackable
I'm
solution.
working with them.
Yeah.
I'm really helping those. No. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. So I mean, this is not something that is helping Microsoft. I'm saying, like, when they announce these things, this is not something that's helping them as far as, oh man, I gotta get
So
it.
their brand goes down.
Their brand goes down, and right now I'm looking at it as like, I don't know if I want to get a Kinect that's going to constantly, and they're saying that they're making it to where the Xbox One has to be in contact with Microsoft servers at least once every 24 hours. So it's going to force you to leave this thing on. Otherwise, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe the system is going to reset.
You know what's going to happen, right?
What are they going to do?
Metro PCS of gaming. It's going to be some smart guy who's going to figure out how to undercut the market. Yes, and I'm backing them. I'm bankrolling those people.
If they're going
It's
to...
totally ridiculous.
Yeah, this is not... Gamers don't want this sort of thing. They don't want that, and that's why they came out and they told Sony that they are not happy. Gamers have come out and they didn't go to Sony, but on their website, you leave comments and so forth. Gamers in the hundreds have left comments on Sony's site saying, yeah, do not approach the used game market the way Microsoft's approaching. Now, Sony never came out and said how they're going to deal with it. You know, Sony never said anything. We're going to hear about it hopefully maybe at E3. But gamers are saying if this is the route Microsoft is going, Sony, don't do that, because gamers want to be able, if I don't want to go to GameStop, what if I would just want to sell my game to a friend?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Apparently I can't do that in Microsoft's world.
A friend has a game that you like.
Right,
And you make no cash exchange.
right,
But you give him
You
your
say,
game,
"Here."
that happens all the time.
right.